Anthropic AI just launched Claude 3.5 Sonnet, which isn't even their biggest version, it's their mid-size version, but it's already outperforming their largest version, Opus, as well as ChatGPT 4.0. So we're going to take a look today at what all this means, what are some of the features, and where does it outperform. So let's get started. So Anthropic went ahead and made this graphic here, which compares Claude 3.5 Sonnet to Claude 3 Opus, GPT 4.0, Gemini 1.5 Pro, and Llama 400B, an early snapshot of. And it goes through all these different things that it's getting scored on of how it fares. Graduate level reasoning, undergraduate level knowledge, code, multilingual math, reasoning over text, mixed evaluations, math problem solving, and grade school math. Now, as we look at this, we're going to see that Claude 3.5 Sonnet is overperforming in almost all of these areas but two. Where there's green text, it shows that that is the highest performer across all these different ones. Where it is black text, it shows it is not the highest performer. But take a look really quick at where there's black text compared to green text for Claude 3.5 Sonnet. 88.3% is the second best compared to GPT 4.0 at 88.7%. So it's only losing out by 0.4% when it comes to undergraduate level knowledge. Not really statistically significant or substantial. Then we're going to take a look at math problem solving. 71.1%, again, it comes in at second place behind GPT 4.0 of 76.6%, which is over a 5% difference, but that's the only other one that it is not the best at. It is the best at grade school math, mixed evaluations, reasoning over text, multilingual math, code, undergraduate level knowledge, and graduate level reasoning. Now you might be kind of confused on why undergraduate level knowledge has these two different ones here. Now 5-shot and 0-shot are different ways that you can put inputs into any sort of AI and see what it generates for an output. So this is just the way that it goes about it. And if you notice, GPT 4.0 doesn't have 5-shot. So it's not something that I can even test against. It can only be in Claude 3.5 Sonnet. So that's something worth noting and something that is definitely interesting to see. And down here you can even see these asterisks, like Claude 3.5 Sonnet scores 67.2% on the 5-shot if you look at it through different criteria. Same with how it scores for a 90.4% on MMLU with a 5-shot. So this is corresponding to how many asterisks there are to which one this corresponds to, obviously. So it's showing that they took a lower value. And if you didn't take that lower value, it'd even be higher, obviously, but it's still already winning with that lower used value. For what that's worth, that is something to take note of as well. Claude 3.5 Sonnet is actually twice as fast as Opus, which is the biggest version from Anthropic AI, so that's super interesting to note, as well as being faster than ChatGPT 4.0. It's faster than both of those, where speed is definitely something that people are looking for. How quickly can I get my outputs? When I put in my inputs, can I get back what I need to in a timely manner? Because definitely the more that you can do stuff quicker, the more that you can do. That is something worth noting, something people are looking into and trying to figure out what works best for them. So if you're looking for speed, you definitely want to look at 3.5 Sonnet because it's going to be the fastest option. When it comes to visual recognition, Sonnet is by far the best out of all of these. So if you're putting in something that's a graphic or a chart or any sort of document and you want it to scan it and take something from it and give you some sort of an output, that is what you want to be using. It is definitely the better one of those, and that's the one that you want to say, okay, I have this visual, I have this document, I have whatever I need to put into this. I'm going to go with Anthropic AI's Sonnet because this is going to be what's going to give me the output that's going to be the best, the most succinct, and it's going to save me time and give me more quality output as a result. Now there's a paid and a free version. If you use the free version, you still have access to this, which is insane because this has been something that you haven't been able to do in the past. Devin was something that would do these things, but you weren't really able to use it as a member of the general public. This is something that you actually can use. However, you only have about a dozen or so different questions or inputs that you can put in over a couple of hours before you have to wait to then do this again unless you have the pro version. So if you really want to use this a lot, you really want to get into it, you want the pro version, but if you just want to explore and kind of poke around a bit, the free version is totally fine because you get about a dozen things that you can ask it to see if you like it and it's something that you want to spend that money in and you think that it would be worth your while and worth your time to do so. There's a pretty cool experimental feature called artifacts. Now if you toggle this on, what it's going to allow you to do is think of it as almost splitting everything in half. So on the left-hand side, it's what you're used to seeing with AI, right? So you put your inputs into there and you're going to get your outputs. However, on the right-hand side, you're going to have your code generated as a result of that. So let's say that you want to make a website for how to cook for the month or something. You could put the input on the left, please generate for me a website on how to cook for the month. You can do that. Then on the right, it's going to show you that code, and then you can actually go to a preview to show you what does that website look like. And you can tell it, hey, I want this to look nicer, I want this to look different, what have you, and you can actually have it change in real time without you actually having to write the code itself. It can write the code for you, generate an output for it, and then tweak it based on what you put in as your different inputs. So let's give it a try. Let's make a website that teaches people how to cook once a month and see how well it does. So I'm going to say, I would like for you to make a website that teaches people how to cook once a month. Don't worry about typos, and let's see what it makes. We've toggled on the option that will give the generated output on the right. So it's showing us the code, and we should be able to have a preview afterwards that shows us what that looks like. As you can see here, on the left, it's giving this information, it's answering what we asked, but on the right, it's creating this output. It even shows a little sample. It says this month's recipe, spaghetti carbonara. It tells you everything you need, all that. So that's pretty good so far. But let's say I like the color purple. Please make the text purple and the background white on the website. There we go. So the background is still white, but it changed this text box to have a little bit of a purplish tint to it, but it made all of my text purple. And I could even say, add a sample photo of the resulting dish recommendation on the website, please. Here's what it did. It put a little placeholder in here for you to go ahead and input some sort of a photo. So you could then ask it to make you a photo elsewhere, but it didn't actually do it for you. It just said, here are the margins, here's what you want your maximum pixels to be, here's how you can make sure that it's not looking all sort of distorted and wonky, this is what you want to put here, and these are the different constraints for that photo if you so choose. We can go over here to code and see everything that should go in it. And you could paste that somewhere where you could work with code, you could change it. So even if you don't know code, you could still get a pretty rudimentary thing as a result of this. And if you do know code, you could go in here and flesh it out more, make it look nicer, and make it look how you want it to look. What's also pretty cool is you can use this to do little games. So you can ask it to build you a game using Claude. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna ask it to build us a game. So we're gonna go in here and we're gonna say, please make me a generic Flash game that I can play. So this is the preview of it, and you see down here, I've got this little bar that I can control, and I can move around and catch falling objects. It's very simple. And all the information given with this is all current from April of 2024. So anything prior to April 2024 and including it, it has, and anything after that, it does not have. So it can scour the web, it can find information if you say, hey, I have this question or I'm trying to do this. It has all the ability to look from April 2024 back to help you to get what you want to get out of it. So that's what we're looking at with the Sonnet 3.5 Claude AI. It's pretty good. I like it a lot. I think it's something that you should be looking into if you're curious about the new AI advancements. This is definitely something that is the leader right now, and I think I'm curious to see how OpenAI does with their stuff, how ChatGPT responds, and what all Anthropic AI has in store for Claude in the future.